Thank you for joining us tonight. You're now with me, Shaminato, for TVS Nightline. We begin with the headlines tonight. Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Dato' Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, supports the proposal for the definition natives in Sarawak in the Federal Constitution to be updated. The amendment to the definition of natives of Sarawak in the Federal Constitution could serve as an acknowledgement of the state's unique, diverse community with its many sub-ethnic groups.
Saya memang perlembagaan Malaysia itu banyak yang perlu dibuat pindaan dan harapan saya dengan adanya menteri yang melihat berkenaan dengan perlembagaan di pusat supaya dapat menghalusi terutama sekali berkenaan dengan hak-hak negeri yang perlu banyak diatur. Kenapa ya tidak diatur dahulu saya pun kurang pasti, tapi diaturkan supaya ia dapat menunjukkan apa yang betul berkenaan dengan butiran-butiran ataupun persetujuan yang telah disetujui antara apabila kita menubuhkan Malaysia.
On Tuesday, Assistant Minister of Law, State Federal Relations and Project Monitoring, Datuk Sharifah Hasidah Said Ghazali said that the state had proposed the definitions of natives in the state to be updated in the Federal Constitution. Sharifah Hasidah said, apart from the Malays, Chinese and Dayaks, the rest of the natives in the state would often be conveniently categorized as others or lain-lain. Karim said allowing the amendment to the Federal Constitution is also a sign of respect to the ethnic communities in the state.
Kurangnya dia diperhalusi supaya identiti satu-satu bangsa itu menyerlah. Saya percaya tidak ada bangsa yang suka dianggap sebagai bangsa lain-lain saja. Kalau isi borang lain-lain. Untuk memberi supaya bangsa itu dihormati.
Now set your worry aside, for the main purpose of the vaccine is to strengthen our body immunity against COVID-19.
According to Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi, teenagers aged 13 years old who aren't vaccinated are at risk, whereby several countries such as UK have recorded fatalities from this age group. The Assistant Minister in the Chief Minister's Department for Islamic Affairs and DBKU acknowledged that there are Malaysians rejecting the COVID-19 vaccination program.
Semoga dengan adanya pertahanan ini, antibodi kita meningkat, maka ia akan meningkatkan juga keyakinan kita untuk melakukan aktiviti seharian, termasuk aktiviti masyarakat. Seperti apa yang kita lakukan sebelum pandemik ini melanda kita setahun atau 2 tahun yang lalu. Rakyat Malaysia mendapat suntikan vaksinasi daripada pelbagai bentuk, sama ada vaksinasi triple antigen, measles, polio, chickenpox dan meningitis dan sebagainya. Jadi proses vaksinasi bukanlah asing kepada rakyat Malaysia.
He added there are few factors that causes this group to refuse vaccination, and most of them were influenced by misleading information on social media. Rahman Junaidi also says that there are few of them are afraid of syringe and also parents who forbid their children to be vaccinated.
Meanwhile, the Association of Private Hospitals Malaysia, APHM, has requested its member hospitals in Sarawak to assist in the increasing numbers of COVID-19 patients in the state. Its president, Dr. Kuljit Singh, said although the number of patients in categories 4 and 5 is low, he said the number of those in these categories requiring intensive care units or ICU and wards will soon increase beyond the available capacity.
Okay, there is one private hospital in Kuching has already agreed to accept the patients, COVID full paying patients. They are ready within a week or 10 days. They should be able to start accepting. You have to make some adjustments. With this, we hope the other private hospitals in Kuching will also follow suit.
Dr. Kuljit also noted that the decision to take in self-paying COVID-19 patients is ultimately up to the hospital to make, as it is dependent on the capacity and capability of the hospital.
And now on to the next update. A total of 593 million ringgit has been spent on emergency procurement of additional hospital equipment for COVID-19 treatment over the past 2 years. This portrays the capability of government hospitals used to treat COVID-19 patients who are in dire need.
Ini tidak termasuk sumbangan yang kita telah terima daripada luar negara dan dalam negara, iaitu jumlah sumbangan yang telah pun kita terima, nilai dia adalah 148 juta ringgit Malaysia. Itulah dari segi peralatan tambahan yang diperolehi.
Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the procurements made in 2020 and this year, 2021, had been distributed to health facilities nationwide. As such, the ministry will maintain the hospitals that have been converted to full COVID-19 hospitals in state nationwide. Khairi said, apart from providing additional hospital equipment, the Health Ministry had also set up the National Rapid Response Task Force so that health workers could be mobilized to states with high cases such as Penang, Kedah and Sabah.
Lebih banyak lagi hospital-hospital hybrid yang mana sebahagian daripada wardnya diambil alih untuk menguruskan rawatan COVID-19 dapat dijadikan semula sebagai hospital biasa. Namun demikian, buat masa ini untuk memastikan capacity to respond kepada kes-kes jangkitan COVID, kita masih lagi akan kekalkan beberapa hospital sebagai hospital COVID, sama ada secara hospital COVID penuh ataupun hospital hybrid yang dapat merawat kes-kes COVID-19.
Up to date, a total of 223 health workers had been sent to Penang, 156 to Kedah and 102 people to Sabah to ensure proper handling of critical and to avoid burnout among health providers.
And following the success of the virtual CAC in monitoring Category 1 and 2 COVID-19 cases in the Greater Klang Valley, the Health Ministry is trying to emulate the success by introducing the method nationwide. The move will allow for assessments to be carried out virtually to deal with the high number of cases in the country.
Daripada penubuhan CAC Maya, kedatangan pesakit di CAC Greater Klang Valley adalah rendah dan sentiasa dalam keadaan terkawal walaupun jumlah kes positif COVID-19 masih lagi di paras yang sedikit tinggi. Susulan daripada kejayaan CAC Maya dalam memantau pesakit kategori 1 dan 2 bergejala ringan di Greater Klang Valley, usaha untuk menubuhkan CAC Maya di lain-lain negeri sedang giat dijalankan bagi menangani peningkatan pesakit COVID-19 di seluruh negara. Terima kasih.
Commenting further, Khairi, who is also Rembau MP, said a total of 209 CACs have been set up in all districts nationwide, with plans to set up more in districts which are experiencing a rise in cases. Khairi also explained that the CACs would either recommend a home quarantine order for those who were detected positive for COVID-19 symptoms to ensure a safe environment to curb the spread of the virus among healthcare workers.
And now on to a crime development. Hidden under the guise of a residential house, an online gambling syndicate was busted by the authorities on Monday. The call center was operated at 2 units of an apartment building at Jalan Datuk Tawi Sli in Kuching.
Sarawak Commissioner of Police Dato' ID Ismail said the call centre has been in operation for the past 2 months and earned a gross profit of 2,500 ringgit daily. 24 foreign nationals, including 7 women aged between 20 to 47, were arrested during the operation. The syndicate operated via social media applications such as WhatsApp, Telegram, WeChat, Skype and Facebook, as well as promotion through phone calls. Also seized during the operation include 14 units of computer monitors and computer processing unit CPU, 17 mobile phones, internet routers, modems and other peripherals. The case is being investigated under Section 4(1)G of the Common Gambling House Act 1953, while all the suspects were detained under Section 51(5)B of the Immigration Act 1959 and 63.
Meanwhile, Sarawak Police is still awaiting the forensics report from the Bukit Aman headquarters regarding the content on the phone owned by serial paedophile Aladdin Lanim. Sarawak Police Commissioner Dato' ID Ismail said his team is working together with Bukit Aman in expediting the report, which is set to be out next month.
Once the report is obtained, it would be referred to the Deputy Public Prosecutor for further action. Currently, the police are trying to identify more victims based on the content on the suspect's phone.
Setakat ni yang datang atau memberi buat laporan sebanyak 5 lah setakat ni. So far, yes. Any more? Belum dapat lagi. Setakat ni belum ada tambahan lagi lah. Tapi kita cuba kena pastilah. Jika kita dapat melihat kandungan handphone suspek ni, mungkin kita boleh dapat gambar lebih banyak maklumat lah.
The victims were believed to be residing in the neighbouring areas where Aladdin had stayed. Aladdin was arrested on July 5th and he was charged on 18 counts of charges. He was also sentenced to 48 years, 6 months in prison and 15 whips of the cane.
I believe that if anyone has the longing to explore a new experience and craft in life, one must take that chances and see where it leads you. You may excel, and you may also hit the wall in the process. But the lessons learned will be the greatest teacher. Let the Miriam and Sarawakien have more healthier bread in bakery.
Back to the Nightline with the COVID-19 development. New COVID-19 cases in the country recorded a slight decline today with 14,990 cases compared to 15,759 cases on Tuesday. This makes the total cumulative cases to 2,142,924 cases nationwide.
Selangor reported the highest number of cases today at 2,414 cases. 6 other states also reported 4-digit cases, namely Johor 1,880, Kelantan 1,573, Perak 1,490, Penang 1,224, Sabah 1,199 and Kedah 1,007. Sarawak recorded 1,712 new cases today. Of the figures, 2 cases are placed under Category 3 and 4 respectively, while the remaining cases were reported to be asymptomatic or mild symptoms. Meanwhile, 3 new COVID-19 clusters were declared in Sarawak today, involving 2 institutions in Cebu and a workplace cluster in Kuching. This involves the Pusat Kemuyang Timur cluster in Cebu, involves students and residents of a childcare centre, with 16 individuals tested positive out of 85 individuals screened. The number of fatalities has increased to 709 after 12 new deaths were reported between September 10th and 20th in Betong, Sarikei, Kuching, Miri, Limbang, Kapit and Cebu.
On the other hand, 3 rest and service area RSA will be featured along the Sarawak-Pan-Borneo Highway. According to its Minister Dato' Sri Fadila Yusof, the presence of this RSA is beneficial to the residents at the area.
Terdapat 3 kawasan rehat dan rawat ataupun rest and service area ataupun RSA dengan izin yang dibina di sepanjang projek Lebuh Raya Pen Borneo Sarawak, iaitu di Julukong, Sungai Basai dan juga Lambe. Pembinaan RSA dengan keluasan 10 ekar bakal membolehkan usahawan tempatan untuk menjana pendapatan dengan mengusahakan kemudahan kedai makan dan pasar tamu di kawasan tersebut.
4 security posts along Sarawak-Kalimantan border are now in the midst of construction in efforts to beef up the state's border security. The initiative, initiated by the government through the Defence Ministry, was crucial following Indonesia's announcement of shifting its capital to Borneo soon. The projects are expected to be completed by early 2022 next year.
Iaitu pos Padampan di bahagian Kuching, pos Sungai Pauh di bahagian Serian, pos Batu Kaya di bahagian Seri Aman dan pos Tapak Megah di bahagian Kapit.
At the same time, Hishamuddin said that his ministry is planning to build 10 MAF posts at the Sarawak-Kalimantan border. He said that MAF is also cooperating with Indonesian National Armed Forces (TNI) in the border areas through joint operations of the Malaysian Army at 6 combined posts. Since the beginning of the pandemic in the country, Hishamuddin said MAF had deployed 4,233 personnel to carry out various forms of operation. MAF operations includes the constructions of field hospitals in states and areas required. Hishamuddin said MAF is prepared to build more field hospitals in states requiring them and is only waiting for the green light from the Health Ministry.
The issue of drug abuse needs to be addressed using an integrated, multidisciplinary, mutually supportive and balanced approach between reducing demand and supply. Rehabilitation efforts should continue to be diversified, and the society should be made more aware that addiction needs to be treated. Home Minister Dato' Sri Hamzah Zainuddin has requested a special allocation of 10 million ringgit under Budget 2022 to further boost activities and efforts to maintain the recovery of former drug addicts in the country.
To prove that recovery is possible, which is a new initiative introduced by the National Anti-Drug Agency AADK, 30 mentors have been appointed to be role models in the community this year. Hamzah Zainuddin said as of August 31st, 47,863 people had received treatment and rehabilitation at AADK throughout Malaysia.
And on to the next highlight. Malaysia remains competitive in attracting investments into the country despite the challenging COVID-19 pandemic situation. In a bid to target high-quality, advanced technology-oriented investments focusing on long-term sustainability with emphasis on environmental, social and governance elements.
Senior Minister cum International Trade and Industry Minister Dato' Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali said Malaysia's strategic position, conducive business environment and ecosystem, as well as strategic investment-related initiatives are expected to continue to make Malaysia a preferred destination in the region. Nevertheless, he said the government acknowledges that the foreign direct investment FDI outlook will remain challenging and competitive, as reported by the Department of Statistics Malaysia and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD. Moving Looking forward, Azmin said the government will continue to adopt three main approaches in revitalizing the nation's economy, including making the National COVID-19 Immunization Program PICK a catalyst for the safe and systematic reopening of the economy. The government will also continue to strengthen the country's economic fundamentals through the implementation of trade and investment policies that are open, transparent and business-friendly. This includes the government's ongoing efforts to ratify the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership CPTPP and the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership RCEP.
The government has the capacity to accommodate the increment of the minimum wage from the current 1,200 ringgit. As such, the increment would also encourage businesses to make investments in automation and artificial intelligence at improving productivity. This would indirectly create high-value jobs for local workers.
Bursa Malaysia Berhad Chairman Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar reiterated that the minimum wage revision could be done gradually over a period of time to give businesses enough time to plan accordingly. Wahid, who is also the former minister in the Prime Minister's department, expressed that it is crucial for all business owners to ensure that their employees are well compensated, have enough facilities and work in a safe and friendly atmosphere. The minimum wage was last revised on February 1st, 2020 with a 100 ringgit hike. In the meantime, Abdul Wahid said he hoped that businesses would take the initiatives to offer fair remuneration for their workers instead of waiting for the governments to announce a new policy on the minimum wage.
The proposal to impose action against civil servants who refuse to be vaccinated against COVID-19 is not merely seen as a form of punishment. Instead, it is to raise awareness of the importance of the vaccine in bringing the country out of the pandemic.
Congress of Unions of Employees in the Public and Civil Services QPAC's President Adnan Mat said 98% of civil servants had been vaccinated, while the remaining 2% should not decline the vaccine because they were the executors of government policies. Meanwhile, QPAC is of the view that the government needs to take more steps forward based on the current existing regulations to ensure that all civil servants are inoculated. In a statement, the Public Service Department JPA reinstated that several options of action and measures would be proposed to MKN, including a directive to make it compulsory for all civil servants to take the vaccine, except those who have strong reasons to be exempted on health grounds.
I was being raised by the people, and the brew crew was being grown by the people dekat jalan.
Jadi bila saya diperkenalkan dengan Borneo Latte, gula afong, it's something very new for me. Saya sangat suka.
Daripada segi spektrum rasa, dah macam terlalu kira advance lah sebenarnya.
From Sarawak with love.
打个电话是我爸爸妈妈创立的，1986年创立，第一间是在加兰沙岛。
那个是第一间，到现在还有。第一天开店的时候才做67块7啊。
从我接手以来，我们就有一个想法，就想我们想要把不一样的带出来给大家。
10年前跟10年后的大家不一样啊。
我刚刚进来的时候，大概还是一个比较传统的蛋糕店哦，跟现在相比有吗？现在已经转型了，非常的多。
Thank you for staying with me. Now robots are invading agriculture industry thanks to a Silicon Valley company. They believe that artificial intelligence and automation equipped with hydroponic system could produce better and sustainable yields, with claims of using 90% less water than traditional farms and 90% less electricity than a vertical farm that uses LED lights. Therefore, tech billionaire Bill Gates' breakthrough energy ventures is betting on them by leading the latest $50 million funding round.
The Series C funding round for the San Carlos-based iron ox, announced on Wednesday, September 22nd, comes as companies move toward managing and adapting to climate change. At the company's 10,000 square foot greenhouse in Gilroy, California, a robot named Grover is moving 6-foot by 6-foot pallets of produce, mainly Genovese basil, around the facility. It operates by using its camera and LiDAR system to navigate, and it's a delicate task. Each pallet, known as a module, carries 80 gallons of water with roughly 70 seedlings floating on a raft with its roots soaking up the water below. Grover must lift the 1,200 pounds of material and move it around without spilling or putting too much stress on the plants. Other produce in the Gilroy greenhouse includes Thai basil and strawberries, while at the San Carlos headquarters they are working on cilantro, parsley and tomatoes, among others. The company's focus is in the greenhouse, allowing them to take its produce on the road and grow anywhere, anytime with their autonomous robots in tow. They are currently building a 535,000 square foot greenhouse in Lockhart, Texas, 30 miles south of Austin. There, they'll be using 5,400 modules.
Put aside 5G as researchers in the United Kingdom are promising virtual teleportation with 6G. Researchers from the Institute for Communication Systems in the UK are trying to achieve virtual teleportation by transmitting all human senses. They are trying to turn a science fiction into a science fact.
Professor Rahim Tafazoli says that 1G to 5G were able to transmit only 2 human senses, hearing and seeing. And now they are trying to add other 3 senses, touch, taste and smell. The idea could see an end to the kind of isolation felt by many during the coronavirus lockdowns who were cut off from society. The idea involves harnessing the bandwidth that 6G will offer, likely to be magnitudes more than 5G, to allow our virtual reality VR selves to do much more than just interact on screen. Professor Tafazoli says enabling VR images to interact requires online synchronization not possible with 5G, but will open enormous possibilities once 6G is possible. He believes 5G will still be rolling out for the next few years, but already his team are looking well beyond it.
And lava gushed from Spain's La Palma volcano on Tuesday night, September 21, in the Canary Islands' first volcanic eruption in 50 years. A drone footage shows the active volcano continues to release lava, ash and smoke as evacuation is underway for locals living in the nearby residential places.
The volcano started erupting on Sunday, September 19, shooting lava hundreds of meters into the air, engulfing forests and sending molten rock towards the ocean over a sparsely populated area of La Palma, which had been rocked by thousands of quakes in the prior days. This is the first time CUMBRE VIEJA volcano, located on the Canary Islands in the Atlantic Ocean, has erupted since 1971. Spain's Civil Guard Police Force said they are evacuating between 5,000 to 10,000 residents from the affected area. President of the Islands Council, Mariano Hernandez, reported no fatalities or injuries so far. However, 150 homes have been destroyed by the eruption.
And that concludes TVS Nightline for tonight. And as always, thank you for tuning in to your local news tonight. Here with me, Sholtomato, and I'll see you next time. Have a good morning.